Hi, I'm Addy Jacobs, and you're watching the Derek Pernesiglio Show.
Get out, drive you!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Derek Pernesiglio Show. We're going to do something different this week. You know, we usually talk to car owners or drivers or a media personality in the sport, but we're also going to talk to someone who makes Victory Lane look a hell of a lot better. We want to welcome Miss Path Valley, Miss Wingless Series. What else are you? The owner of MILF and Cookies, the member of the international bikini team, the very beautiful Addy Jacobs. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You forgot to mention that I also was Miss 2021 calendar sprint car girl for the Pennsylvania Sprint Cars.
That's right. I apologize.
Yeah,
so many titles, but
I know, right?
It's great.
It's hard to keep track.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it. We know you were going to fly down and couldn't do that because of turbulence or whatever it was, and then you guys decided to drive down, which for us is huge. So thank you. We appreciate you guys doing the 8-hour drive down here from Pennsylvania.
We're very excited.
How was the drive down?
It was fun. Some traffic along the way, but there's always traffic on 95. So what are you going to do?
Yeah,
you just kind of got to eat it and roll with it.
Traffic sucks. Try going 81 home. That might serve you better. Seriously.
I'll tell Nick. My boyfriend, Nick.
Yeah.
Be like, you drive.
There you go.
Take care of it.
That's it. So, first off, we appreciate you coming in. I know you've got a huge following on social media. That's kind of how we met and got to, chat with each other and everything. Yeah. Also kind of kindred spirits too, so we both lost a parent recently. That happens. But for you, you've been doing a whole bunch of stuff, but mainly your aura consists around the world of dirt track racing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in it, and it's just kind of going off from there.
So, grew up in a racing family.
Correct.
But your dad didn't race. He was a car owner, right?
Yeah. Okay. So he raced like the slot cars, and he co-owned some cars and he sponsored some cars, but he never raced.
Okay, but slot cars are fun.
So much fun.
Right, I toy around with them every once in a while too. I used to do it as a kid back home. My brother still plays with them, and he goes like to traveling series races too.
No
like
way, really?
Yeah, he'll travel up to Massachusetts and New Hampshire and go and race and compete. And
how far away? That's like what, 10, 12 hours, right?
No, not from Long Island where he's from.
Well, we're from here.
No.
You don't go with him.
Right. No.
Oh.
I'm the only one who lives in North Carolina. Most of my family is in New York, and then I have a twin sister in Texas.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah. So, but my brother, he'll travel from Long Island up to Massachusetts or New Hampshire, and it's usually like a 4-hour ride, 5-hour.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Depending on what it is, but he goes and he wins money sometimes too. So
no way, really?
It's kind of worth it. Yeah.
So are you like the only person besides your brother in like racing, or does your sister get into it too?
Oh, my sister loves it, and honestly, I think she would have made a hell of a driver because she is. She's fearless. She is.
Really?
Oh, she's the tough one in the family. I mean, yeah, like back in the day when we were in high school, a guy broke into the house, and my sister then was an 8th degree black belt, and she beat the shit out of him.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh yeah. He broke into the house. He grabbed her, and she was just like, and kind of double elbowed him, hip tossed him, a couple of kicks in the face. Yeah,
That's
man.
wild.
Once that story got around high school,
she was like not to be fucked with.
Right, exactly. Nobody would screw with Robin Pernesiglio. So,
wow. So where do you think you get that from? Like your mom or your dad? Like the fearlessness?
Probably both. You got to remember we got that Italian anger in us too.
That like.
Yeah, I like to tell people that my family is kind of like a cross between the Sopranos and the Bundys from Married with Children. It's a good mix. But anyway, enough about me. About you. You started off, going to the dirt tracks and all of that. When did becoming a trophy queen come into play here?
So my dad used to co-own cars. He used to sponsor a lot of cars, and then he started sponsoring the Saturday night series for late models and street stocks all on Saturday nights at Williams Grove Speedway. Mm-hmm. So when I was way young, like a toddler, I would go with him to the races at Silver Spring Speedway. And I remember this one time it was literally pouring down rain, and they were about to call it. And I literally remember sitting on my dad's hip, and I was like, what are we going to do? And he's like, we're going to wait it out. Like, that was always his thing. Whenever we would go to the races, once he got there, he was not leaving until they told him to leave. So, about 2010, he opened his own business, and he was like, you know what? I think that you would be a great representative for, my company, and I want you to get further into racing. And then it just kind of went from there.
Did you ever drive or compete in anything, a go-kart or anything?
Well, I'm okay at go-karts, but
Okay.
no. My dad wanted to get me into racing many times. He'd be like, we should, and I'm like, no. I was just scared. But
No desire to drive at all?
nowadays, yes, but back then, no.
You kind of take me as the type of girl that doesn't mind going like mudding in one of them big trucks or anything like that.
No, I don't mind at all.
No, see, okay.
I like to get dirty. Speed like excites me.
Okay.
I think it's like an adrenaline rush, and it gets me like, this is fun. But I was so young back then. I thought it was just scary, but now I'm like, let's freaking go.
It's awesome. What are like some of the favorite cars that you like to go see if you're gonna go watch something?
Yeah, so I definitely like the street stocks, and because of that, I feel like it's, your hometown guys that put all their money into what they love and what they know. And it's not like these big corporate places or these big corporate drivers. They're like your hometown guys that are just trying to make it with a family. And those are the people that I like to go and watch succeed.
The guys that are working 40 hours a week and then another 40 hours a week on their race car at home.
The blue collar boys.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with showing that support to the little guy because my dad was one of those guys for about 20 years.
So was my dad.
Yeah, traveling with NEMA, the Northeastern Midget Association. And,
Yeah.
He was at it for 20 years before he won his first race as a car owner. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That's
and
awesome.
It was my brother that got him his first win, as a matter
Really?
of fact. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Of all the drivers over the years, my brother got him his first win, and that was an emotional victory. That was the first time I ever saw my father cry.
Stop.
Yep.
The whole time. How old were you?
Yeah, me? I was in my 20s at the time.
And you had never seen him cry.
You gotta remember, we come from tough Long Island Italian.
Italian.
All right, when you come from an Italian family, they know two emotions: happy or pissed
mad.
off. That's it. That's the only two emotions you're allowed to show in an Italian household. So
Yeah.
when I saw his eyes watering up, like hugging my brother in Victory Lane, I was like, wow, this is a pretty big moment.
Yeah.
So then, of course, we all have those over the years. What are some of the big moments for you, like that you've done or is most memorable for you?
Yeah. So I think probably the most memorable thing for me would be when I got asked to be the Miss Calendar Girl for Eastern Sprint Cars. So I would represent all of the Pennsylvania Sprint Cars. And I remember sitting at my kitchen table crying because I was like, I have literally been doing this for so long. And, my dad was so proud of me. And I was like, Dad, listen, like, look what I get to do. And it was so cool because I got to be on a calendar and I got to be on a poster. And literally the poster's hanging in my room to this day. And it's just the coolest thing ever because I feel like I look back and I remember my kids being there and my kids were just so like, my mom's the coolest person ever.
Right.
So it was just a very like memorable moment.
And that is in that area of the country, the Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey type of area. That is like a big thing as far as the trophy girls go, and they have Miss Motorsports every year, and there's Eastern Sprint Car Calendar, which is
PA Posse,
the Pennsylvania
like,
Posse.
yeah.
Like it's a huge thing in
Massive deal.
Okay, so for you growing up around that
was like one of my biggest accomplishments because like I said, I had worked so hard and I had been, trophy girl, and I had been, through all these different events, and I had learned my way around, the tracks and the people and the cars, and it was just very humbling that just a small town girl could do that.
Now the Miss Motorsports pageant, that's a huge thing every year that they do at the Motorsports Expo. It used to be called Miller Motorsports when I was younger, really young. Yeah, I know, I'm showing my age here.
You can be a day over 25.
Yeah, I'm going to be 49 years old this year.
No way, I don't believe it.
I'm a grandfather.
You told me with two, not one, but
technically
with
a step
two.
grandfather, but yes, I am a step grandfather. But the girls, my two granddaughters, Olive and Violet, they are adorable.
Oh, those are the cutest names.
They've known me since they were 3 and 5, so I've always been around them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're great. But for you though, getting back to the Miss Motorsport stuff. You never thought about doing the pageant or anything, or you've competed in it before, but you haven't won it yet, right?
So way back when it used to be Miss Dirt Tracking, I did actually compete in it. And that was, 12, 13, 14 years ago, long time ago. Now it's Miss Racing Extravaganza. I did sign up for Miss Motorsports. However, I do have my children, and my children come first. And it just so happens that every time it's Miss Motorsports or, Miss Motorama, it falls on the weekends that I have my children. And I can't give that up.
Well, they also, if you win that too, you have a schedule to stick to, right? To go to certain tracks and races.
Yeah, like I can pick my own tracks and races, but the competition is a weekend long competition. So I didn't want to give that up.
Okay.
I'd rather be with my kids during that time.
Okay, your kids are at home with you during the week, and you got to get them ready for school and all that kind of stuff.
Pretty much
huh?
all the mom duties.
So what did they think when you were coming down here?
Well, they were very excited. Every time I go away for work, they're always like, "Oh, can you bring us jewelry or stuffed animals?" It's like our thing.
Right.
So they have like little mugs, and like they have like all these little like stuffed animals with like different like cities and stuff on it. So they were super excited. They're like my main hype girls. Every time like I do a photo shoot or I go to the races or I do, any promo, they're like, "Can we see pictures?" Like they make me want to keep doing it to show them that like you don't have to give it, you can still be your best self regardless of what happens. And they help me like believe in myself. So
how do you manage that time between doing all that stuff at the racetracks, because it's late nights there sometimes, and then also having the kids and managing, the family and a house and all that.
All my chickens and my dogs.
We're going to get to the animals soon because, oh my God, and I told my wife that you have 10 chickens and she lit up. So she loves chickens.
Well, I just recently got 7 chicks. They're little babies. But Nick, my boyfriend, got them with me. So he's kind of helping me take care of them. But my girls, I have pictures of them as infants at the races with my dad. And, I grew up in racing, and I've done the same thing with my girls. I've raised them in racing. They have their favorite drivers. Like, they go to the races, and they absolutely love it. So when I do have them, they ask me to go to the races because they enjoy it, and they've grown up in that, and they want to be involved in that. So they don't really mind it.
Do they want to do what mom does with the spokesmodeling?
Yeah.
And
well,
Trophy Girl?
My oldest actually wants to race. So I'm like, I got to figure out how to do that because that's spicy. I don't know how to manage that.
Buy her a set of golf clubs or something.
No, she won't like that. She doesn't like golfing. She likes adrenaline like mom. We got an issue.
Oh, no. That's not good.
Yeah.
When you go to the track, though, like, what is your usual duties? Are you walking around the pits, or do you usually are there signing autographs and pictures?
Yeah, so both. So when I was Miss Path Valley and Miss Wingless, they would actually come with me, and I have pictures of them like walking with me in the pits. I have a picture of like my one daughter on my right hand and my other daughter on my left, and we were just walking the pits. So they, like I said, they're very involved. They love it. They grew up in it. They know that like Pop is associated, which is my dad.
That's what I called my grandfather, Pop. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
So,
they always hung out with Pop at the races, and they always went fishing with Pop. So they know that like it's associated. So when I go, they're like, "Oh, it's work time," and then they just go and they talk to people, and and racing's like one big family. So a lot of people know them, and they know a lot of people. And even when they were very, very young, people would sit there and like hold them and watch them and walk them around and take them under their wings. So
and they sit there.
They're very accustomed.
Yeah, they go, "That's my mommy right there," right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. So your Miss Wingless series. Now, what is the Wingless series? Tell us about it.
So it is a hometown group of guys that travel, and they're based out of Path Valley Wingless Sportsmen. And it's just, they're an amazing group of guys that just try their hardest to do the damn thing, and they do it. And they're very, very sweet. They've given a lot to me and my family, and they've taken us under their wing, very well. So.
And they just travel around Pennsylvania, or do they go to Maryland,
Yeah, pretty
Jersey?
much. It really depends. Racing is very, very difficult in that aspect because, if they ask, to go to a track and the track is like, we're not interested, they don't go. So it is very like hometown, but they do try and branch out.
That's cool. It's like club racing almost, or that kind of an organization of racing.
Yeah.
Cool. Switching gears now, you are a member of the International Bikini Team.
Yes,
So
I am.
what is the International Bikini Team?
So we tour all up and down, the East Coast, the Midwest, really everywhere. And we just represent, motorcycles, events, people, places, things. We pretty much do it all.
Mm-hmm. So it's, do you find yourself at more like the motorcycle rallies? Because from the pictures that I saw, there's a lot of those events going on.
Yeah, I would say it's a mix. It's another one of those things where I'm a full-time mom, so I pick and choose exactly what I want to work. And if it works, for the days that I don't have my children, then yeah, I'm down for anything. But when I do have my children, I do try not to work just because I want to spend quality time with them.
How wild and crazy do some of those events get? Like Sturgis and Myrtle Beach and...
Oh, Myrtle Beach is just... It's the best time.
It's the dirty Myrtle, baby.
There's a lot of really great people, and you meet, and that's the great thing about promos and traveling so much, is that you do meet a lot of really great people. You see a lot of really cool places, things that you wouldn't imagine seeing just on a day-to-day basis. You get to see that when you travel with the International Bikini Team. So, it's just like... Myrtle Beach Bike Week is like the coolest thing ever because you get to meet all of these people. They're from all over the world. You get to talk with them. You get to bullshit with them, and you learn so many new things. And I love going to it. It's a lot of fun.
What is the security like at something like that? Obviously,
it's high.
I was gonna say, you're walking around wearing bikinis and next to nothing, and guys are guys. And,
guys will be guys.
I'm sure and bike rallies. I'm sure some of the girls will be girls too.
Yeah, security is very high.
Mm-hmm.
We're always very protected. I'm very protected myself. I know self-defense, I pack and I have a taser. So yeah.
No kidding.
So,
it's tough to fit into a bikini though.
Yeah, but you put on clothes after, so.
Right, I gotcha. Wow, you carry everywhere you go?
Depends.
What do you carry?
My Glock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Louis Vuitton Glock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton Glock.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't show it to my wife because she's gonna.
She might want it.
We don't get me wrong. I mean we have a few guns in the house. They're strictly there for protection and all that. But I don't go to the range or anything like that.
Really?
No, I have too much time doing this.
Really?
Yeah.
So Pat at 717 Armory, he's right outside of Harrisburg. He does an amazing job. He's the one that actually sold me the gun, and he actually trained me on how to shoot it. So he does an amazing job. But Harrisburg is out of Pennsylvania, obviously, and you're from here, but they are really great. So you just need to find somebody that'll be like, here, I'll show you how to shoot this, that, and the other. And
well, I know how to shoot. I know how to shoot. I just don't go into the range or anything like that. I've got it in the house in case somebody breaks in.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we own rental properties too. So, we have it in case, someone's screwing around on the properties or they, trespassing. And, that's the kind of stuff that we have to watch out for and worry about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This world is a little crazy at times.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So during the 2020 to now time, what was it like trying to get through the pandemic and doing events and even trying to model? Because I know doing television, all live events for me went away. All my work disappeared. What had happened for you?
Yeah. So it was really rough just because everything was pretty much closed down and nobody wanted to do this and nobody wanted to do that. But, another great thing about the races is that it's blue collar men, and most of them are Republicans, so they did not care about, there's a COVID vaccine, or, we can't be together. So you know what? I still did trophy girl stuff. I went down on the track, wore a checkered face mask, and I still did my thing. And that's what's great about that, is because they still they're so humble, and they're just you know what? We're not going to go with what everybody tells us to do. We're our own people, and we're going to do our own thing. So, yes, business slowed down, but it was still quite normal.
You know, the funny thing is, through all of that, everything going on, I didn't get any symptoms. I didn't get any issues or anything like that. Like, you know, my mom did, of course, and
Yeah.
you know, she got sick.
God bless her.
That was losing her was tough. And then
sorry.
and then my place burned to the ground 3 weeks after she passed. So that was it was a rough time.
Yeah.
Thank God for my wife. That she was my girlfriend then.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you just got married recently, right?
I just got-
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you.
She's gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. She
You're
is
welcome.
fantastic, and she is and was the glue that kept me from coming to pieces. I tell you what, because losing, you know, your mom, your job, your money,
Like, literally everything.
right, your place burning down. Like, yeah, we lost a lot. You know, so like there were a lot of nights that I would lose it. Yeah, I'd lose my shit because tenants aren't paying because of the moratorium and all that. And she just kept me grounded. And there were so many blow-ups that I still apologize to her this day that she took the brunt of, and she could have split at any time because I was unbearable to live with, you know.
But she didn't.
All of that trauma going on, and she hung with me. She told me when we met, I'm a ride or die bitch, and
she definitely wrote it out.
totally proves it. And so, and I know she's listening. So, Marnie, love you, baby. So, yeah, she could have left at any time, and she hung with me. And one day, we were sitting by the pool at our friend's place, and I just looked at her. I said, "You want to get married?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." And I think we were like, you know what, screw it. Let's just have a small private ceremony. And about a month or two later, we got married. So
No, that's like making me blush.
I'm making you cry right now.
Just blush a little bit.
So
That's so sweet.
And then we got married on the weekend of my mother's birthday, you know, to kind of make it special and official and everything.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a picture of my mom and I on her bouquet, and it was really, really sweet how everything went.
Very like heartfelt.
It was. It was very heartfelt. And we're coming up on being married a year in August. So once we get to August, we'll be married a year. So thankfully, she hasn't killed me yet. I know she's wanted to.
She might be holding that knife like somewhere around.
Yeah, I know she's wanted to. So yeah, she does put up with me. But what about you? You have a boyfriend now.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a boyfriend.
Okay. New relationship?
Yes.
Okay. And he's cool with all of the trophy girl and modeling and all of that kind of stuff? Good.
He's so supportive.
That's
and
awesome.
He's just amazing. He's like, you should do, like, he gives me advice all the time, and I respect him so much, and he does so well for himself. So I definitely want to be on his level because he's very supportive.
What kind of advice does he give you?
He's pretty much just like, follow your heart. Like, you should do this, you should do that. Like, hey, listen, fuck it, and I go for it.
Do what you do best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. So, okay, tell me, what is MILF and Cookies? He says you are the president and CEO of MILF and Cookies.
Yeah.
So let us know what that is.
Yeah. So, I grew up in a very, frugal household. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of followed me, and I started cooking and baking, and I got really, really good at it. And I found that baking cookies was a way that I could be very free, and I could do what I wanted, and I wouldn't have anybody telling me, well, you need to do this, that, and the other. I could just do what I wanted. So then I came up with the concept of, okay, well, I could make cookies because men like food, right? Mm. A way to a man's heart is food. And then also a way to a man's heart is sex. So like I could be, hot.
Sex sells.
Literally, I could be hot and bake cookies. Mm-hmm. So the whole concept behind MILF and Cookies is that you get a specialized Polaroid and then you get cookies. So you get a Polaroid that nobody else gets, and you get a special card, and then you get cookies. So
through
kind of like ads together.
And that is through you have an OnlyFans page too.
Correct. I do have an OnlyFans page. Yeah. So the MILF and Cookies ties into the OnlyFans page. Okay. So if somebody wanted that special video of like me baking their cookies and talking to them, they would get that.
So when I say OnlyFans page, I know the regular vanilla listeners are going to be like,
Oh my gosh, she has an OnlyFans?
Right, but it's becoming more and more mainstream now. I mean, my wife and I
was
know...
going to say, like, you and your wife, you said that you started doing, like, content for other, like...
No, well, not OnlyFans.
Well, not OnlyFans. well, we'll get there.
Maybe, but we have a content creation company. We work with florists and wedding planners.
But what if, like, somebody
like
wanted to do, like, content creation? Would
for
you...
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I mean,
it's money.
I've produced TV all my life, so I guess race cars, women, florists. I guess we
do it all.
We do it all. I guess it wouldn't bother. Let's put it wouldn't bother me. But
I mean, you never know. Like you said earlier, like money's money. Like,
listen,
you go where the money takes you.
Nowadays, it is harder than ever to make your way through life.
Oh my
Everything
gosh.
is way more expensive. It's harder to do anything. My wife and I had a vacation that we were going to plan this year, and we were kind of looking at finances. We were like, let's wait another year. So, you know what? Make what you can and make it how you can. And if you got it, flaunt it.
I mean, you go to the grocery store, you get 3 bags of groceries, and it's over $100. It's crazy. Like, how do you take care of that? I don't understand. How did it get so expensive?
You have to do what you can to get by. I mean, I have this show. My wife and we're starting to build the content creation company, which is more work than we're actually making right now. But there's also, I do the communications directing for Mountain Creek Speedway. So it's any way you can make it, you got to be able to make it to get by. So I have no judgments on anyone that wants to do OnlyFans.
Speaking about me, I do so much. What about you? Like, you do so much. How did you get into everything that you do? Did you go to college? Like, you said that you grew up in a racing family.
I did.
So how did you get into all of this?
Well, I grew up in a racing family. My father owned midgets for years, raced with NEMA, so we traveled up to the Northeast all the time, and got old enough, and I started racing go-karts at 15, which is now considered elderly. I know.
Yeah, you're not 7 doing it, so
5 or all that, I know.
Yeah.
But started racing go-karts and eventually drove for my father in midgets, and I raced some modifieds every once in a while too. And I also realized at a young age you need tons of money to do this. And
so much money.
I wasn't going to make it as a driver, but I had done interviews and announced at a few go-kart tracks, and I had started kind of leaning towards the announcing stuff because there was a local go-kart track, needed an announcer. Everybody thought I did a good job. I would travel with my father's series, and when I wasn't racing, I'd go up in the booth and announce some of the midget races, which eventually led to a local television show being at Seekonk Speedway. The producer brought me on just to talk on camera. He thought I did great. He was like, you should really try pursuing this. I went to school in Rhode Island, went to New England Institute, and learned
So what did you go to school for in Rhode Island?
Television and radio production. And
Nice.
I'll tell you an interesting story.
I'm here for it.
I moved down here to North Carolina February 18th, 2001, the same day Dale Earnhardt died.
Oh, no.
So we were driving down in a rental truck. I towing my car in the back, and all my apartment was in the back, and my dad was driving, and we were just chatting. I said, you know what, Dad? I said, someday, I'm going to interview Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty. And, he's like, I hope you do, kid. And we had gotten to Matthew Dillner's house. I'm sure you know who he is. He's on Flow, and he was the producer of the Dale Jr. Download. I was staying with him. And when he got to the door, he opened the door, he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, what's going on? He was like, Dale didn't make it through the crash.
Oh, no.
And at 7 o'clock the next morning, I'm setting up a camera in front of DEI. That was my first day on the job.
Stop. So how did you take that? Were you just like, you know what? Like, I just got to tough it out? Or...
Honestly, it's your first day on the job, so you're taking everything in. And I just couldn't believe I was there because we had gotten to DEI at about 7 o'clock in the morning, really early.
Yeah.
And we were setting up a camera. And in a matter of 2 hours, I'd say at 9 a.m., all of Route 3 was backed up, going in both directions. There were thousands of people standing around. And the one thing that I'll always remember about standing out there is the silence. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. Every once in a while, you'd hear an engine rev up that was driving past hitting the gas, or somebody would yell out the window, Earnhardt forever, and it was wild. You couldn't help it to get choked up. There was a girl that had a sign that said, are there any left turns on the way to heaven? And it was...
no, that just like, that's a heart puller.
Big time. So, and the first show that I worked on was Race Day, the original Race Day that was on TNN. that was hosted by Rick Benjamin and Ralph Shaheen. And I worked on that. 2 months after living here, the show got canceled and I was out of work. So yeah, Wendy Venturini, God bless her, dropped my name to the folks at NASCAR because we had worked together on race day, and I started over there at NASCAR, and I was there for 11 years, and that's when I met the producers who were helping me with the show, and we've all became friends.
That's awesome.
It's great, yeah.
It's awesome how the racing community really does, it's like a second family.
Yeah.
It's like a second nature. They're just always there, I feel like. It's a great group of people.
When things have gotten bad, like our racing buddies have rallied around us, and even like growing up, like you're traveling to somebody's track or somebody's out of state, and they'll say, hey, stay at our place, don't go to a hotel, save money. And I remember sleeping on the floors of some of our competitors' houses a lot growing up.
Yeah.
So there was that. But back to you. Enough about me. Yeah, right. You're interviewing me.
But we like to hear about you.
That's okay.
I mean, you're the star of the show.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but we want to hear about you because you've got a way bigger of a following on social media than I do.
So when are you gonna get chickens?
When am I? Don't even go there. Oh my God, Marnie, she's in the next room right now, and I know she can hear this.
She wants chickens.
I know.
You're gonna have to cave.
Well, and this all happened from my neighbors, okay? Because they
always walk in your yard.
They
right?
have free range chickens, and then they wander into the front yard, and then my wife loves bird watching too. We even have a camera in a bird feeder in the yard, and which goes right to her phone, so she can see the birds in her phone.
That's sweet.
So yeah, I got that.
You got to make your dreams come true.
And she has a 12 gauge. So so no, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, let me have another drink here for a minute. All right. So, no, but she loves birds, and she's a huge bird watcher. She loves squirrels, chipmunks, all of that stuff. We have 4 cats. She talked me into the cats, and because originally it was like, no cats.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then she hammered on me, and then she wanted to bring her cat over to my place because she was staying at my place, more than staying at her place. So anyway, back to the chickens. So she opens the door one day and she's like, baby, we got chickens. She's like, I want chickens. And I'm like, no.
Have you ever seen Twister?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know how she's like, we got cows.
We got
chickens.
We got cats. No, we don't have dogs, but we have dogs that come on the yard. My handyman has a dog. But I told her, I'm like, it's not going to get like old McDonald's farm around here.
Why not?
A couple of months ago, we had 7 cats in the house because one of the cats had kittens and she wanted to keep them all. And I
don't blame her.
Don't get me wrong, I love them too. We are animal lovers. We definitely are. I can't really have a dog because I'm allergic to dogs. But so we settled on the cats, and they're fun and all of that. But yeah, you have animals too, right? You have not ducks, chickens.
Chickens.
3 dogs.
I have 3 dogs.
Okay.
I have 2 German Shepherds and 1 pit bull. And then I know.
Rescues?
Yes. So my oldest girl, Nova, she's actually rescued from Baltimore City. It's called Barks. So she's rescued from Baltimore City. Somebody tied her to a railroad track and wanted her to, But she's just the sweetest, best girl. And, she's almost 10 and she's just a love. She loves everything, everybody. And she's a doll. Yeah.
They're animals. I've said it before. Animals can teach us to be more human.
Yeah.
They really
definitely
can. Anyway, switching gears. Let's get back to the racetrack. Okay?
All right.
So, get a sip of whiskey there. So, good. Whiskey drinker. I like it. So, getting back to the racetrack. So, on a weekend, what does a weekend consist of to you? Do you go there to enjoy the race, or are you going there to work? What's going on?
Yeah. So, when I do go there to work, I don't really call it work because if you love your work, you never really work a day in your life. But like I said, I grew up in racing and I've raised my kids in racing. And when I do go there and if I do take my kids, I'm literally sitting there at the bleachers. Like Nick and I just went, a couple weeks ago for one of the races devoted to my dad. And I was sitting there screaming like, oh my gosh, nail biting, because it's just when you are so close with these people, and you see these people, you know, from the bottom and then succeed, or, you know, you just see these people as just your hometown people, like your friends. You know, it's just amazing to see how great they do and how much they succeed and how much they've grown. So even when I do go for work, it's not work at all. It's fun, and I love it.
You know, what the funny thing is the people that are outside of racing don't realize that small little bit of celebrity you get when you're in that world, you know, when you're driving or when, you know, you're trophy queen, you know, something like that. Like, I'm sure you've been at the track on off nights and someone's come up and wanted a picture with you or an autograph or something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like one of the best feelings in the world, isn't it?
It's so surreal. You know, a while ago when I was in it, you know, big Area Auto Racing News would feature me, you know, in their different magazine portions. And it was so crazy because, you know, their prints would come out and I would look at it and I would be like, that's me in a magazine. That's just so surreal because, you know, little me was just like, oh, you know, I was fan of the night when I was 6 and that's just the coolest thing. And now I'm like, I have, you know, my picture in Area Auto Racing News and I have my own poster and my own calendar. And it's crazy to start from like just this little girl that, you know, loved racing to now, you know, all these different titles and all these different things underneath of her. It's just, I'm very humbled.
How old were you when you did your first like trophy queen gig?
So I was about 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was very, very young.
Okay.
And like I said, you know, my dad sponsored and co-owned some cars, and he was like, you know what? I think that you should do this. I want you to be, you know, my quote unquote trophy girl, you know, and I think that you would be great for it. You're great with people. You've been, you know, around the races. You've grown up in them. So I think that you would be a good fit.
You weren't wearing a bikini at 14 or
No.
anything, right?
No.
Like the first time you had to walk out in front of a crowd wearing next to nothing, what was that like? Was it like stage fright or?
It's so much stage fright. Because,
Really?
Yeah, because people literally look at you and they're just like,
Well, yeah.
I mean, you have, you know, the men that are like gawking at you, and then you have the women that are like mad at you, and you're just like, I'm just here.
And then
you
the
know,
preteens that are just experiencing puberty that
Literally.
are like, wow.
Literally.
Yeah, I believe me. I was that guy years ago. I remember some of the Miss Motorsports and the bikinis and going, you know, like being that young kid and you getting your first introduction to like a model and
Yeah, it's wild. But I do remember literally sitting at Path Valley Speedway and sitting at the picnic table. And, you know, the year that I became Miss Wingless Series, I got a photo shoot done, and I had all these, you know, pictures printed out by Troy Junkins. And he's an amazing photographer. He does a lot for all of the speedways. And I was sitting at the picnic table in the middle of like the racetrack where the concession stand is, you know, signing autographs. And I was like, this is so surreal. Is this my life right now? But
right.
it was still so fun because I'm like, well, I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like, it was just so much fun.
Chris is in my ear busting my balls going, yeah, now you're an old kid enjoying the women in bikinis. So yeah, that's great. I tell you what, I do feel old too when I see someone like Morgan Rochelle, who won Miss Motorsports.
I love her. Okay. She is just the sweetest.
And she races, which I think is cool.
She's a badass.
But here's the fun. I feel old because I raced with her dad.
Oh, okay, that's a little old.
Yeah, okay. So I see her, and I'm just like, oh my god,
Have
I
you
raced with
seen
her
her
dad.
little brother?
No, he races too.
And he wins.
Does he really?
He's a he's a freaking total badass.
What division is he
wins.
running?
Oh my gosh, like a lot of like the midgets and like the I think he was doing go-karts for a while there, like when he was young.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got it.
Right.
He's definitely got it in his blood. He's awesome.
That's cool. And that for you though, that is like the big crown to have, right? The Miss Motorsports crown.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
I remember like a few of them over the years. I remember Tracy Lape, Robin Smoker, Meaty Miller, but now I'm showing my age. I mean,
I won't say anything.
Yeah, we're talking like early 90s. So yeah, that was way back in the day.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. So now what is next for you on the calendar? What are you going to be doing?
You know, it really just depends. I have some things in the works, but I definitely want to follow in my dad's footsteps. You know, his main thing was to give back to these guys. My dad, you know, was was very devoted to racing, and my dad was not, by any means the richest man alive. So he would work really, really hard, and these people were pretty much like his second family. So, he would give what he had back to these men just to see them succeed and see them win. And I want to follow in his footsteps, and I want to do something for the racing because it's always going to be in my blood. Like I said, my kids, it's in their blood, so I definitely want to give back to them.
The Hard Charger Award was a big thing for him, wasn't it?
Big thing.
Okay. And is that something that you want to do? You want to keep that Hard Charger Award going and all that?
Yeah, I think I'd want to. I would have to find a track that would support it because it's just so difficult now. The tracks have become so corporate, and, we lost Trailways, and that was a really big hometown track. So I would just have to find a track that would support, those small town, wins.
So for the people who are listening or watching, explain to them what the Hard Charger Award is.
Yeah. So the Hard Charger Award is the person that advances the most spots. So you have your winner that, if they lead or whatever, your second place gets into first, fine. But the Hard Charger is the person that busts their ass and shows that they want to win. So if they start in, 7th and they get up to 2nd, or they start in 15th and they get up to, 7th, it's the person that tries their hardest because they want to succeed. And that's the Hard Charger.
So it's not just advancing the most positions in the race?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So besides that, it's the dedication and the work and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you would have to have that in order to advance, because if you're not trying.
Isn't it a cash award?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What does someone usually win for the Hard Charger?
It really just depends. When we did it a few weeks ago, I think it was $275. Sometimes it's $500. Sometimes, it's $50. Sometimes it's $100. It really just depends on what these people want to put up. And that's what's so important about keeping these races together and, keeping these small town guys coming back is for people like my dad that put out that type of money to get these guys to come back.
One of the big things for you is women empowerment and women empowerment in motorsports. So, football teams have the cheerleaders and they have to try out and all of that kind of stuff. But for you, what does that do for you? What is the biggest thing that you want to get out there and known?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I have my 2 kids, and my 2 kids look up to me. And I think it's very, very important to teach our younger generation about confidence and women empowerment. And, who cares what people say and who cares, what people, look and it doesn't matter. In this day and age, it matters about how you feel and how you look. And if you're confident in yourself, go out there and show it, flaunt it. It doesn't matter. We need those types of women that don't care what people say and they don't care how people look at them or what comments they make, because we're all about women empowerment. Like, we need to lift each other up and we need to lift each other's crowns and not degrade each other. So I'm all for girls lifting up other girls, because we need women of power and we need women that actually want to show that they know something and not just oh, well, just because I'm in racing, what? No, we need that. So
I like the fact that you are trying to get attention to that area besides just the women driving, because a lot of the campaigns now is just focused around the women drivers, but there's many other roles in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids is another, big thing. I think that, in order to keep our racetracks alive, we need to have a lot more things based around children. When I was younger, I remember Silver Spring Speedway, we would do Fan of the Night, and we would go out there and we would get pictures taken and, all this fun stuff. And, I Path Valley, they're amazing with that because they have a kids' night. They bring in the Pennsylvania State Troopers. It's amazing because all of the kids get to meet the drivers and they get to get candy and they get to meet, the state troopers and they get to meet, whoever else. We need to make sure that we're giving, the children and the women things to empower them, that they can do it. And because really that's what's keeping us alive. Because once we go away, what's going to happen to all of the small racetracks? They're all pretty much going away.
Right.
So we definitely have to keep that alive.
In today's day and age where there is the woke generation, the canceling and all of that kind of stuff, everybody's offended by something. It's kind of refreshing to see that the trophy girl hasn't gone away. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm sure that you've caught some shit at the racetrack.
Oh, for sure. But another thing is that people are always going to talk. Like, regardless if you're, 17, 28, 40, people are always going to have shit to say. Mm-hmm. But you know what? As long as you go out there and you're confident, you're like, you know what? I own my shit.
Listen, if I had the body of Jason Momoa, or I'd walk around shirtless. I'd walk around shirtless all the time. So I get it. If you got it, flaunt it.
People are always going to be offended. People are always going to have something to say, and you know what? You get one life, and life is so short. So be confident and live your life and do the damn thing.
Obviously, doing all the modeling and everything, you've got to stay in shape and all of that stuff. Like, what do you have, how many days a week you working out?
I run a lot.
You run a lot? Okay.
I run a lot. I'm a big runner, so I go to the gym a lot and go on the treadmill. So.
Okay. Which gym do you go to? Do you?
Planet Fitness.
Yeah, me too.
I'm nothing special. Like I don't. I'll go to the local high school and run the bleachers, but I don't go to any like big town gym or anything.
I'm at the age in my life right now where I work out 3 days a week just to stay 10 pounds overweight. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So, and my wife hears me complain all the time because...
About what?
Because I try to, stay in decent shape and exercise. And when you hit 48 years old, it becomes harder and harder.
When you hit like almost 30, you're like...
Almost 30.
I'll be 30 in July.
Will you really? A new milestone, huh?
I know.
That's, you know what? I give you a lot of credit because most women don't like to talk about their age. So, but you look great. You look awesome for 30. You know, that's fantastic. But
age is just a number.
I totally agree with you on that.
That's how you feel. I feel like I'm 50, so it's fine.
Please, wait till you hit it. Then you'll really start feeling
You haven't even hit it yet.
I'm not that far away
Close.
from it. It's getting harder and harder every year. That's for sure. But now moving on, what's the next modeling event for you? What's out there? What do you want to plug? What do you want to let people know where we can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That's really easy. It's Addy Jacobs _ OnlyFans. I do, fun stuff on there. But as far as future things, there's a lot of stuff in place that, we're kind of planning. So that's exciting. But other than that, I'm really doing promos, and I'm doing a lot of bartending, and I'm doing, a lot of just things that I want to do.
Okay. So, the bartending stuff, I can imagine, becomes an adventure.
Yeah. It's fun.
You got any interesting stories from that? We're all about stories on this show. Stories drive the show. So you got to have something interesting or fun to share.
There's really fun times where, guys will come up to you and they won't leave you alone. They'll ask for your number and you'll tell them no. And then they'll come up with some, stupid pickup line to make you be like, oh, but like you've heard it 100 times already. That's like the funnier times. Or, you have times where you cut people off and they throw things at you and they get, violent with you and angry with you. And then you have other times where, you have the girls that are like, I want to take you home. So, I mean, there's so many different, like scenarios that I could, play by, but it's really just, you got to roll with the punches and you have to be, able to adapt to different personalities. And that's like the fun thing is that you get a vast, very wide range of different people.
You've got to give me the best and worst pickup lines that you've ever heard. You got it.
All right.
Who had game and who didn't?
All right. So, people will always be like, oh, do you come with this machine? Or, oh, yeah, if I ride home, are you riding home with me? And, they can get very like sexual, but, you just kind of got to like, laugh it off. Like, oh, that's funny.
Their attempt at
yeah,
flirting.
I mean, yeah, guys will be guys, and they have like 2 brain cells, so
they need a little more game, right?
Yeah.
I have very little game. Luckily, like my wife fell for all of my stupid jokes and all of that kind of stuff when we met. So
yeah,
we met in a Starbucks of all places too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I know. We're talking too much about me.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, no, but you're the guest, and you're.
But we like to hear about you.
Okay, all right. Well, let's. We're about it. We're now we're gonna get back to you. So, what is next for you? Like this weekend, are you going to be at a racetrack or where?
Yeah, so this upcoming weekend, I will be at Myrtle Beach Bike Week, and I'll be bartending at Spokes and Bones. It'll be, a week long, and then I come home, and then I just go and do some other promos. So I'll be gone for a while, and, the future is very, mixed.
You do your own booking?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay.
I
So
do.
you're kind of like managing all of your own stuff?
I own my own LLC, so I can book and, manage myself. But, as far as the future goes, I take every day, day by day, and I'll see where it takes me. But I'm just living life.
Make sure that clients pay at least half up front, because there are times when you show up and it doesn't go down or something, so at least you get
it's called a deposit,
right?
And I make sure to get that.
There you go. Smart girl. Okay, so where can we find Addy Jacobs? Where
Well, Google's the first place.
Google. Okay. So obviously on Facebook, because that's where you sent me a friend request, and the funniest thing was,
how long ago was that?
It was a while ago.
Long
and I thought
time
I thought I
ago.
was being catfished.
Everybody says that, like, oh, like you're spam, you're catfish. I'm like, no, I swear, I'm like a real person.
I believe. Well, now I believe it, but like in the beginning, when you're on Facebook or Twitter or anything, you see this hot model type chick with like all these followers, and then wants to follow you, and it's like, really? Come on, is this?
But like I pride myself in that. Like I'm very, very humble. Like you would never know. Like if I'm out in Walmart or like the public, you would look at me and be like,
I think some of your posts are funny though, like the sassy shit.
I literally do not care.
So, awesome. And so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter page. Do you have Twitter?
I do not have a Twitter.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't feel like I could get into it. I don't post like my entire life story. So
you don't have to really do that. It's kind of, Twitter is just like do what you want. I feel it is, but
isn't that like democratically like?
I don't get it. We don't get into politics on this show.
I mean,
yeah, we don't get into politics.
I don't really stick with Twitter.
Well, you have to talking with Matt Dillner about this, because he gives me the best examples, because I'm not like a TikToker or anything like that.
Oh, I'm a TikToker.
Oh, my wife is addicted to TikTok, like a drug addiction to TikTok. It's crazy. She will just, the ride down here, just, flipping, swiping. Oh yeah, she's addicted to TikTok. She loves it. But she's posting right now, as a matter of fact.
Is she really?
Chris is in my ear telling me she's posting right now. But she does a lot of great stuff for the content company, and then also she kind of helps me with the photos and all that kind of stuff. But you have to get a Twitter page, because here's why. And Matt Dillner explained it to me the best way possible, is that you have to look at social media like your hand. So you got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, what else? Twitch, OnlyFans, whatever.
What is Twitch? Is that like a young kids thing?
It's one of the other things. I think it is. But his theory was you have to look at it as their fingers. So the more fingers you have, the more people you can touch.
The more you have in your pot.
That, and the more reach you can have as well. So yeah, get yourself a Twitter page, because I guarantee you'll get a lot of followers really quick.
I'll look into it.
So yeah, absolutely. So do that. Okay, cool. So we can find you on Instagram at what?
Addy Jacobs _
Okay, and you have your Facebook page is Addy Jacobs.
Addy Jacobs.
So
easily accessible.
That was one of the other questions I was going to ask you. Are you in any way related to Kenny Jacobs, a sprint car racer?
No, and I get that a lot.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I had a feeling.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not that I know of anyway. I mean, the Jacobs, Johnson, I mean, they're not vast, like, big, but, I could be. I don't think I am.
What is there anything else that you want to bring up or make known? How clients can get in touch with you. I mean, we've already talked about your social media stuff.
Yeah,
where do we get you for booking?
You can message me directly on Instagram. A lot of my bookings come through Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and OnlyFans.
Awesome. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much. Here, let's toast.
With your vodka and
your vodka
Sprite.
and your whiskey. There you go. There you go.
Toast.
Thank you very much. for coming on the Derek Pernesiglio Show. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for
really.
having
You're
me.
beautiful, and
Thank
I hope
you.
nothing but the best for you.
Thank you. Likewise. You're
Thank
beautiful.
Addy Jacobs joins us on the Derek Pernesiglio Show. It was a fun episode. We want to thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you the next time. Bye.